funniest thing when we started concepting the idea, it really wasn't how good did a guy surf, it was how good would a guy be able to handle sitting in a really tight area for 2 weeks straight, and how he would respond to the other guys, and then how good did he surf, because there's guys that are incredible surfers that you don't want to be around in a tight area for 2 weeks, and then there's guys like Donnie and Benji and Rob and Kalani, and I mean there's a bunch of them that are guys that you would want to be with, and that's why we chose the guys we chose. Barney especially, favorite guy out of one of my favorite guys out of all the drivers for sure. Not to be a jerk about it, but I love when Barney was in there. This is probably the tail end of 6 months, and I would say 2 years and 3 months total from the time I think when we first decided to do drive-thrus in general. That one of them was, let's do drive-thru Australia. That was right off the bat. It was like, why don't we do it in a different country? And Australia was the first one that we kind of came up with it as like, that's where we want to go.
LAX behind us, we're leaving right now. We're going to Australia.
10,479 kilometers away.
Let's get to the beach. Dude, that was the longest flight ever.
Where you been, man?
That was 18 hours of delays.
We showed up, we rented 2 RVs. Let's see, Donavon brought 3 boards. He brought a 6'8", 6'3", and I don't know if it was a 5'10" single fin. That's it, 3 boards. 1 breaks, you got 2 left. Benji, I think, brought 6 boards. Rob brought 13 surfboards because he brings a whole entire bag of the INT boards, the foam boards, just for that experience, so that all these guys can check it out. If the waves get small, we can at least go out and surf and have fun with each other. And knowing that going into it, knowing that that's what he did in Japan. We had 2 RVs. We had one that we loaded up all the boards. They were only 18-foot RVs, so wasn't much room in it. It was like load the boards and the gear in one, all the camera equipment, all the bags, and then have another one where everybody can kind of hang out and have space to not get on each other's nerves so bad. So they're diesels. They were Mercedes, which was kind of funny and kind of cool. They're manuals, which wasn't very cool. Because it's not that fun to drive for 15 hours straight and have to be shifting gears and worry about that when you're climbing a hill that the RV does not want to go into at 5th gear.
Hold on. Oh, Rob, nice. Oh my God, those guys are tripping. Wow.
Just sitting around waiting for a plane to go. Baby, I don't know if I get there.
We were fortunate enough, one of Rob's best friends in Australia is a guy named Mike Perry, and Rob would call him and just say, hey Mike, what do you think? And he'd be like, hey, the winds are bad here, I should head down here. And we'd go, and it was perfect. And I would say it was luck, but there's no way that somebody could be that lucky. I mean, he's got that coastline dialed, and the fact that we got to hook up with Margot helped out a lot, because he had the places that he took us were places that he grew up surfing by himself when he was a little kid, and he'd since moved to the Gold Coast. It was neat to see where he surfed and know that there is places on the Gold Coast that are just outside the Gold Coast that have nobody out. So it was nice. It was really nice. And Dean, hooking up with Dean, I thought was going to be a lot easier than it was, but I was under the impression that Rob and Donnie and Benji all knew Dean, but nobody did but Kalani. And with Kalani not being there, it was like, all right, so let's go surf with Dean, guys. And they're like, oh, we don't really know. And I was like, somehow we got to hook up with this guy. He doesn't have a home phone, doesn't have a cell phone, but every day he is out at Greenmount. So somehow we lucked into getting his number off of one of his buddies. I think it was Mario we got his number from, and kept trying to call him, and finally got a hold of him on a buddy's cell phone, and had him surf with us at Greenmount one day, and he saw how cool Benji and Rob and Donnie were, and how much fun we were having in the RV, and just how much fun it was. I mean, it's a good time around those guys, no matter what you're doing, where you're going, if you're surfing, if you're not surfing. They're classic guys, and it was real evident to Dean, because the first day he surfed with us, he spent 3 more days with us, so it was really cool.
You traumatized?
I'm a little devastated.
You wouldn't swim out there?
This is a shark I've only been here one time in my life, and I saw it like a 30-meter shark.
When you go to Australia, the last thing that you think about is that there's sharks. So when you're surfing, I know when I'm surfing, I go like, okay, there's sharks. Like, you're in Santa Cruz. Well, you know there's sharks, but the waves are really good, so you just put it out of your head. So those guys, I know that like a couple of the spots we surfed were really sharky, and I know. I mean, they put it right out of their head. One time, Mike Perry was like, he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, Greg, I don't think you really want to swim out there to film. So if you're standing on the beach, you need to be those guys' eyes out in the water, because there's a lot of sharks at this place." And I was just going to myself like, God, do I tell those guys that, or do I withhold that information? So I was like, there's so much pressure. So I told all the guys, I said, hey, we're going to a real sharky spot. If you guys don't want to surf, don't surf. Pulled up, it was firing. They jumped out. I went on the beach. Sure enough, I see about a 15-foot shark coming straight in towards Rob. It was probably about maybe 50 yards outside of Rob. It was headed straight for him. You could see it in the gully. The water was so blue, and I was screaming and yelling, and it's like nobody heard me. And finally Rob came in, and I was like, do you see that shark? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just so hyper and spastic, and he's like, I saw the fin, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, it was huge. He goes, I think it went away. I'm going back out. And I was like, what? So you kind of know, like, if the waves are good, you kind of put it out of your head, because I saw it, but I knew I had to film, so I was scared about it. It was a 2-week trip total. We actually ended up, it was 15 days, because you lose a day. You lose a day and a half in the travel, but we kind of let you see at least the day getting there, so that you understand how far it is. I brought 100 hours of DV tape and 20 rolls of Super 8 film, and we did 17 rolls of Super 8 film and 70 DV tapes. So it was less than I thought, but now going to this end and editing it, it's more than I ever wanted to work with. Seeing that you get to see a 45-minute movie. I mean, we have more footage left than you could ever imagine, and it's all good. And it was really hard to give you guys what we gave you, because I would have loved to have had you seen all 70 hours. So we gave you what we think best represents the experience of the trip, which is, it was really funny. There was a lot of good waves, and it was a really good time. I think one of the coolest things that happened on this trip was that we hooked up with Steve Irwin, because going into the trip, we're thinking Australia, what is there? Everybody's like, we got to get the croc hunter. It'd be so cool. And I was like, man, how can we do that? And I don't know him. And we know that a couple guys have met him before, and we've seen him surf on the TV, but nobody had the in for us. So we're all just kind of like, oh, I don't know. And it got to like the third day or something, or fourth day, and these guys were like, did you call about Steve? And I was like, no. And so I called the zoo, and they put me in contact with this production company. Those guys, I left my name and number and what we were doing and who I was with, and I got a call back the next day, and it said, Steve really wants to hang out with you guys. He wants you to visit the zoo and spend the day with them. And these guys, I mean, I still am bouncing off the walls every time I watch that part, but these guys were so excited and so into it. And when you watch their reactions to when Steve meets them or Steve asks them to do something, they're genuinely so stoked to be there and so impressed and in awe of being with that guy, how cool that guy was, and the overall experience of like, wow, we actually are with the croc hunter. We see this guy all the time. I mean, I have kids, Rob's got kids, Donnie's got kids, we all watch the croc hunter, even Benji in true form. I mean, showed up with the mullet. I mean, we all know the croc hunter.
1, 2, 3. Croggy!